Hello, welcome to Basically Winging It, where I live life and record it sometimes. Okay. So, in today's episode of Life, I am sharing the lessons I learned in my first semester of college. Number one is get finances secure. You don't want to take out loans. I didn't take out any loans. I just got everything paid for with financial aid and scholarships. But the reason why this is first on my list was because I thought my financial aid went through, but then it didn't. All of that money I had saved wasn't for college, technically. I was planning on going on this big giant trip, but I had to use it for rent because I wasn't sure where my finances were, and I didn't check with the financial aid office, and I didn't check that all my information was correct. And then I got a notice from my apartment that said, hey, if you don't pay your rent by this day, you're going to get evicted. Now I'm gonna have to take everything out of my savings. It's just so hard because I feel like everything I'm working for is going down the drain. But hey, on the bright side, I have a date on Friday, assuming I don't have to move out, so. When my financial aid did come through, then my tuition cost was covered and my rent was covered. First things first, before you even get to college, before you even start thinking about what decorations you want to have in your apartment or who you're going to be rooming with, get your finances secure, okay? Okay, glad we had this talk. Second thing on my list is eat food! Gosh! For the first little while, I wasn't eating very much unless I ate at work, which sometimes I was able to do. And the stuff I did eat was just like carbs, which weren't filling at all. So what I did was to eat 3 meals a day because I knew that I wasn't doing that. I was always hungry. Still am a little hungry. I started getting easy things to eat. Not easy like throw it in the microwave, except I did do that sometimes, but the thing, my holy grail, the thing that saved me this semester was cottage cheese. It's so full of protein, it tastes good, and you can add honey and fruit, and you can add it to like scrambled eggs. It's good, and it's fast, and it's easy, and you just have to scoop it out. That was like my lunch, breakfast, and dinner several days, but I felt full after eating it. So cottage cheese, you guys, and if you're lactose intolerant, I'm sorry. Also, protein shakes. Sometimes I didn't have time to eat an entire meal, so I'd take like a bag of baby carrots and maybe celery and a protein shake, and that was my lunch. It was great. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're gonna eat protein and vegetables. They're more filling and they're better. And prioritize your eating and drink water. I'm not gonna put a super huge plug for water because I'm not very good at it, but I always carry a water bottle around, even if I don't end up drinking the whole thing, so. Third thing is sleep. I don't know why I'm talking about this because I'm really bad at sleeping. When you go to bed at midnight or midnight 30 or even later than that and you have a 7:45 class, it makes it really hard to get up in the morning. Remember that. Don't do it. I came into college thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to sleep at like 9:30 or 10 every night. That didn't happen. When you have roommates and friends that you like, then you want to talk to them and you want to stay up and do all the things they're doing, even if it's nothing. Note to self, sleep better. Okay, if anyone has any advice for how to sleep, tell me, because I don't know how. I'm filming a bonus one because the sleep one was really stupid. Put yourself out there. You're never gonna know unless you try something. And worst case scenario, it doesn't go how you want, and that's okay. So I'll give you 2 examples of when I did this. I get terrible stage fright, but I volunteered to sing in church, and I told her I didn't need a pianist because it would be me, and that was really scary, but I did it, and it was so cool. It sounded so good, and I got so many compliments. It was awesome. Here's the other thing. There was this guy who I thought was pretty cool, and so I sent him a text. I was like, hey, you and your roommates were talking about going to karaoke. Do you want to come with me? And he's like, okay. And then I was like, oh, it's a date, by the way. And he's like, oh, you're a great friend, but I don't want that. I was like, oh, okay. Did the rejection hurt? Yes. I was sad for like 3 days. Does it feel embarrassing? Maybe a little bit sometimes, but we're still friends, and I've gotten over it, and he never mentioned it again. And the best part is, because I just took the leap and I just asked him out, then now I know, and I don't have to spend all my time waiting and hoping. And even though it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I am still proud of myself for taking that leap, and my roommates were proud of me for taking that leap. And you know what? Life keeps on moving. Number 4, know when to say yes and know when to say no. My FHE group got super close. We were all great friends, and oftentimes they would do movie nights on Mondays. But sometimes I would have to leave the movie nights early or just not go to the movie nights at all because I had homework to do or because I was too tired. Will you have a fun time watching the movie? Yeah, probably. But will you be more proud of yourself if you knock out that piano practice or do your homework? Yeah, probably. Will your friends love you any less if you don't go to the movie night and you be responsible instead? No, they won't. They'll probably love you even more and be like, wow, I wish I could be responsible. Anyways, let's start the movie. Prioritizing your school needs should come before social stuff. That being said, it shouldn't come before all social stuff. Part of being in this ward meant that every Sunday at about 7 p.m. then we would meet in a lounge in the apartment and do this thing called ward prayer, where we would all play a bunch of board games together, and then at about 8 o'clock then we would all say a prayer together for anyone who was in need of a prayer. I would always go to the ward prayer. Even if I didn't stay for the board games, I would go to the I'd go to the prayer part. There's just a sense of community there. You need to have people. This kind of goes on to my next point 5, which is find your people. If there are opportunities to meet up with people, do it, but know when to do it. My favorite part of college is the social part, and it just is so much better when you have a community. Certain things like that I would always say yes to, but things that were more optional, like the movie nights, sometimes I would say no to. See what I'm saying? Like, can't tell you each of your decisions and which decision is the best one. That's up to you, but know that some things outweigh others. If you don't know how to find people, seek them out. The people I was sitting next to, if I noticed that they were answering questions well, I would say, hey, do you want to study with me? And studying with somebody else not only helps you study better, but it's another community. Number 6, work smarter and not harder. Everyone has heard that said multiple times, but I'm going to tell you how I learned how to do it. So, number 1, find out what things to care about. I was taking a dance class, not a good dancer, that's why I'm taking the class. It was participation grade only, so the biggest thing was attendance. So that class I was on time for, but then other classes that didn't count for lateness or attendance, I was late to. See what I'm saying? Not advocating for being late, but on classes where I didn't have to be there on time, I took advantage of that and maybe ate food or something, or got a few extra minutes of sleep, which also, I mean, I do recommend getting extra sleep, but I don't recommend sleeping through your classes. Another thing about late grades is it's not late if you turn it in before your professor sees it. At like midnight 30, I would email my teacher and be like, please don't mark it late, I'm trying to turn it in. They probably wouldn't have noticed. It's not like they're staying up till midnight being like, oh, all of these people didn't turn in their assignments. No, they have to sleep too. I just kind of stopped telling teachers if I was like about to turn it in, I would just turn it in. Some teachers were really behind on grading, so if it was just turned in by the time they finally got to grading it, wasn't late. But also a lot of my teachers were really lenient about late grades, and I didn't actually have any big late grades this semester, which was good. But that's not what it's going to be like with every professor. Another thing, first things first, kind of what I was saying know which classes count for late grades. If there's a class that counts for late points, then and you have homework for that class, work on that class first, and then you can work on the class that doesn't count for late grades afterwards. Also, if you have a bunch of missing assignments, if you can, do the assignments that aren't late first so that you don't keep on getting caught in this cycle of being late and behind. Another thing is to ask for help. If you have a question in class, raise your hand and ask it. And don't stop asking questions until you get it answered. You're not going to be bothering the teacher. You're not going to be bothering anyone else in the class. You're just going to be bothering yourself if you don't ask the questions because you're the one who gets the lower grade, okay? Also, learn how to ask questions. Think about it first. Don't just raise your hand and say, I'm confused. Or if you do, then say, okay, I know you just said that, but can you re-explain it? And then he would re-explain it in a way that would make a little bit more sense. And then if I still didn't get it, I'd keep on asking in class. And then I would ask my neighbor if they knew. And then if I still didn't know, which usually by that time it got cleared up, I would ask my professors after class to explain it to me. Another thing is learn how to study. Well, first I would come to class, pay attention, ask questions. Then I would do the material, do the homework. Sometimes I didn't do the homework on time, but I still did it. There was review questions. I would write them all on a Word doc or copy and paste them because it was an e-textbook. And then I would answer them to the best of my ability using the knowledge I had in my brain. It's called active recall. Just reading it again, you're not going to remember any of that. It's just going to be gone. And then I would go back, read the textbook, get the right answers. I would write the right answers in green, and I would exit out my wrong answers in red, and then I would keep doing that. And that was really helpful. And then I would form study groups. I don't know if the study groups helped the other person as much, but they helped me a lot. We would both read the material beforehand if we had time, and then we would ask the review questions to each other. And then if there was something that we just didn't know, then we'd go back into the textbook, we'd read it out loud so that we could both hear it and see it. And then she would say it in her own words, and then I would say it in my own words, and then we would check each other and say, is that basically what the textbook is saying? And they would say yes or no. And then also, when I understood something, I would explain it to them, and when they understood something, they would explain it to me. Me and my friends were able to come up with funny little rhymes or something that helped us remember the material better. And we'd meet up as much as possible. There was a time before the final test, we video chatted on Instagram. Make time to study and don't goof off during your study. And if you start to goof off, then we decided the study session was over because our brains were too full. Last one, number 7, is have grace with yourself. I wasn't the best student in college, high school. I was decent, but I wasn't valedictorian or anything. I didn't have a 4.0, I had maybe a 3.8. Yeah, sometimes the transition to college is really hard, and then especially those top performers, if it is a hard transition, they get really down on themselves. They're like, I'm good at school, why am I struggling? This is hard. And they're like, I guess I'm just not smart. I guess it was just a lucky guess. No, you are smart. You are good at school. It's just different, and that's okay. And not everything's gonna work out exactly how you want it to. I tend to set really, really unrealistic goals. I'm like, okay, so 6,000 things I need to get done today in an hour. Let's do it. No, that's not how it works. You need to make sure you're taking care of your needs, like eating, sleeping, drinking water, and having that social connection that I talked about. Do your best and understand that that's enough, and understand that it's okay. So the important thing was that I did something. Even if I didn't get 5 things done, even if I didn't get 1 thing done, if I started something, that was enough for me. If it was too late to do homework, late at night, I would just go to bed and not be mad at myself for going to bed, because I knew that if I didn't get enough sleep, I would be worse the next day, and the cycle would just keep on repeating itself. And understand that nothing lasts forever. It's gonna be okay. The world keeps on moving, and you just have to be okay with that. You